You sailed away and left me with nothing to say. You already knew I would come searching anyway. So I sailed across the sea to see if you were there waiting for me, but you were not. So I sailed back with a broken heart. I waited till 3 to see if you would come looking for me, but you did not. So I fell asleep with a broken heart.
Hey. Ooh, there's some bright little contrast on my face here. How you guys doing? You can't see the rest of my shirt. It says serve. Yeah, that's what it was. And I'm a little bright, but that's okay. I'm bright. This is Recovery Room. It is let's see, Thursday, June 4th. June 4th. June is almost over already. I tell y'all this every time. You know, you guys think I'm kidding, but and like it is kind of a joke, but it's just to say how really quickly time flies. And the reality is that eventually, and you know, especially in what we're dealing with right now with the whole George Floyd thing, which we're going to talk a whole lot about. Your time could actually run out. You know, there will be an actual time when not that you can't breathe, is that you won't be breathing. Okay, and it's a reality. It's something that we got to deal with, and it's something we got to talk about. And you know, you know me. I try to keep abreast, but I try to keep abreast of what's really happening around us. And right now we've got a situation that I've been saying for a long time that there's coming very soon a really huge reawakening of our consciousness, and not only because it's the right thing, but it's because it's absolutely necessary. And I don't know about you guys, but I want to give a big shout out to you know, they've been watching the news and they've been saying it a whole lot, all my white folk, but in particular to the younger white people here in America, because if you've been looking at the coverage of this particular fiasco that's on top of the other fiasco that's on top of the other fiasco, then you have been able to recognize and ascertain that this is a very diverse group of people who are protesting based on what has happened to yet another black person in America. And you know, and so I'm one of those people, you know, I don't get caught up in black or white and all that. I try to deal with the reality of a situation, and the reality of the situation is that there are people who are being abused and murdered and all on a regular basis that are not black. You know, because my thing on this is, you know, because I know a lot of people, and a lot of people ask me a lot of questions, and I answer them honestly. I answer honestly is how I feel, because I'm not one of those people who likes to pigeonhole anything, because there's always other surrounding things. Now, I didn't write any notes down today because I used to have eidetic memory, so I can remember stuff. But I think I better start taking some notes, because there was a lot that went down today and over the last couple of days. This is day 10 of protest around the country. Peaceful protests that have been sabotaged by some, what do they call them? Adventureers or people that take advantageers, people that take advantage of a situation for their own royal. There's this possibility that there's some terrorist activity that is wrapped into our peaceful protests, with cops being run over and people being hit and things and fires being set and the looting and all that. There's so much to it that what we're dealing with right now in this world is open-mindedness. I didn't get a chance to post it today, and then Don, we were in here running around trying to get ourselves together, and I didn't get him to post it. But my topic for today is, you are what you eat. Remember that? Remember that old saying?
Oh, yeah.
You are what you eat, and it's so very true. I mean, it is extremely true. You see, because the way the body works, right? You put something in your mouth and you chew it, and you swallow it, and your body has been designed such that it will take the stuff that you put into it, take out the necessary stuff, the vitamins, minerals, and all that. It's take it out and use it and put it in your body and discard the rest. But the stuff that it keeps becomes you. So when you eat a banana, that banana becomes you in about 3-4 hours. Same thing with what we put into our brain. We can believe everything we're told. We can hold on to old things that we've learned behaviors. It's like Pavlov's dog. Classical conditioning. Do you guys know this thing, classical conditioning, where there's this dog and they got this bell that rings, and when the bell rings, it gets to get some water, and so if the water is there or not, when the bell rings, the dog salivates. It's classical conditioning. Same thing that happens to us. The bell rings, and whatever it is, we are conditioned to react in one way, shape, or fashion. And that's what I see happening, and it's being displayed, portrayed as a black and white issue, and it is neither nor. It is an issue of behavior. Doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter what your socio-economic background is. There are some behaviors that are programmed into us that some of them are not so good for us. And people look at me like I got 4 eyes, and I guess I do, but I really feel for those officers. I got a place in my heart where I feel for those officers, okay? But more so than those officers, I feel for their families. Because as everybody is because we talk about this all the time here on this show, right? When we always say that the storm is not your own, it's in everything. It's just not in addiction. Even though I've been asked if I believe that hate is an addiction, and my answer is yes. And or it is that and a learned behavior, which is kind of like an addiction. It's a little narrow line in there somewhere. But I obviously I feel for George Floyd. Obviously, I feel for the Floyd family, the Gardner family, the Martin family. The names go on and on and on and on. Brown family. You don't want to start calling them because you might miss one.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah. So I don't want to do that. But the reality is that there are people who have committed an offense, right? And if nothing else, the embarrassment that is attached to being able to say, "Oh, that's my brother George," and being a police officer, or that's my brother, whatever the guy's name is, I don't remember right now. The mother of those people, the wives, the children of the people who perpetrate the offense are also affected. And so when I look at this big picture, and I look at it in a big picture fashion, is that what we have to address is whatever hate, whatever anger, whatever frustrations, whatever disenfranchised feelings that may exist in someone's heart, we have to address that, because the situation, the hate has no real target. It is wherever it lands. Okay, and so for me, we gotta concern ourselves with people who have hate and anger in them. We gotta concern ourselves about kids being molested. Okay, we gotta concern ourselves about domestic violence. We got to concern ourselves with like road rage. And for here in the recovery room, we've got to concern ourselves about the pain and hurt that's associated with addiction. It's all one thing, people. It's all one thing. We have been classically conditioned to respond in a certain way. And then now what we're doing is we're getting this, I've been saying to you guys that there's going to be this great awakening. And in that great awakening, people who are addicted to something that is detrimental to their lives and the people around them, when they get the awakening, they're going to be some of the most powerful people on the planet. But there is a great awakening, and it's not and this awakening is going to be about the spirit. It's going to be about the heart and soul of us as people, American and around the world. But see, because we have intellectualized everything. Okay, there's this thing called the paralysis of analysis. Okay, so we have intellectualized everything, and I'm totally into intellectualism and all the whatever you want to call it. I'm into it. I have my own little thing that I've created that I like to call internal intellectual re-engineering. But that just means thinking, going inside and thinking. I don't mean overthink, but I mean go in and just start thinking. Wake up. Our biggest problem is indifference. Our biggest problems are procrastination, stagnation, not living up to what we are capable of as individuals. Now we've got people that are maybe there is a problem, and they're asking, what can I do about it? Right here in Sarasota today, they brought up a incident where just back in May, there was video footage of the police with their knee on a young man's neck right here in the town that I live in. Nicest little town you can ever live in. Okay? But it didn't get the publicity that this one got. And so the one thing that they had the service for George Floyd today, and the Reverend Al Sharpton, feisty guy, and and he's been around. I remember way back when I was in New York City when he came out because he was defending Tawana Brawley, and Tawana Brawley, and as it turns out, falsely accused somebody of raping her. It turned into a whole fiasco. But it didn't stop the man, because the man had a mission. And now he's one of the most outspoken activists in the planet. And when they have these things, who do they call? They call Al Sharpton, because he's a self-proclaimed, what do you call? I can't remember the word that he used on the thing, but he brings stuff up. He said they didn't call me because they want to keep this silent. He said they call me because I bring stuff up. I bring it to a head, and that, guys, that is what is really happening. That's what it is. I don't care about. It'll take years to correct because they kept talking about the criminal justice system and all of that, and that is like so far down, and especially in a a celebration of life that is so far down from what this is really all about. This is really all about the relationships that you have with people. And it doesn't matter whether they're white or black or red or yellow or whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's about the relationship that we have with people. I wore this shirt today on purpose. This is my shirt from the Church of Hope, where I used to work. And it says serve, because realistically, that's what we're here for. You see, because if we all had our minds set on serving, first of all, this incident wouldn't have happened. But somebody asked me today, so what do you think about it? I said, I think it happened. I said, nothing happens for nothing. Okay, I think that it's timely, and that's what Sharpton said today, quoting the Bible. I don't know which verse it was, but anyway, that there's a time and a season for everything. Okay, and now is the time in the season. Okay, here we are, coming out of being on lockdown and coming out early, as far as I'm concerned, from being on lockdown from the coronavirus, the thing that has had the hugest across the board effect on people, and that's all people. And I'm not talking about almost all people. I'm talking about all people. And so here we are with that. And then you compound that with this particular instance where around the globe as well, especially in every state in the United States, people are protesting. And there's been obviously some violence and all that. But people in Germany and in Europe and Spain and Brazil and all over the place are also chiming in on this purely, and what we like to think is a purely American situation, but it's not. It's a purely human situation. I believe, and you know, this is kind of like a joke, but and I'm using it as a metaphor or whatever. But I believe that if the government, because of this coronavirus, can determine that they're going to send everybody some money, then I think that we can get this to where we have people, because the majority of the anger and the frustration comes from lack of resources. So if we can ensure that each and every individual on this planet, yes, I am running for office.
2024.
2024, baby. Start my campaign now, because I believe that if we can provide each and every individual on the planet a stimulus check, then I believe that we can take that tax money, that is our money, and provide each and every individual on the planet with at least enough sustenance to live. And then whatever you go and work and earn and all that is on top of that. But again, you working and earning it, taxing it, so it's a win-win situation. I mean, I'm tired of my tax dollars, and whether it's my gas tax or the tax that I pay on my food or whatever taxes I pay to be used for somebody's maid. For somebody's limo ride or somebody's plane ride. Use it for that, but don't let me sit here and be hungry. It makes absolutely no sense. And so this is where we are. This is a great awakening. This is a great change in the whole system that we live in America and in a capitalist system. And so this is a talk show, and we obviously this is the time to talk. So if you got some thoughts about the things that I'm talking about, and I don't expect you to agree with everything I say, there's a number you can call, and I think I did forward the number. There it is. 941-201-5226. That's 941-201-5226. If there's anybody out there that's got an opinion that they would like to share, please do that, because we got hundreds of people that watch this show. I don't know how or when, but I know I go and look at the views, and it's always a couple hundred people or so that watch it. I don't know if they're watching it now. I don't know if they watch it later. I don't know if it's just some false advertising from Google. But there are some people. Did I say that?
We get shut down, man.
Yeah. Shut me down.
No.
Okay, hold on,
Thank
can't
you.
see. But call that number 941-201-5226 and let's talk about it, because this is where we're headed. I have always, there it is, 941-201-5226. I have always been fortunate enough to have a rainbow coalition, I'd like to call, of friends. I'm talking about of all races, all ethnicities, all ages, all day. I mean, I love people. And I've always felt the same way. So somebody said again, "Well, T, how do you feel about all these things that are going on?" I said, "I feel the same way I've always felt about it." I said that things happen for a reason. Nothing happens for nothing, and I feel that I've been blessed to have great white friends that are compassionate and all. They're not. I also have some. I also have some friends that are pretty. Idealistic and somewhat stuck in their ways, but they're still good people, and so my answer to that question again is that nothing happens for nothing. This is the absolute right time for this, right? Because when something happens, it happens in its time. So this is the absolute right time for this, because we as human beings right now are in a real flux. We got 8 billion people on this planet. There's no way that this whole existence that we have is going to last with 8 billion planets unless we determine that we're all in this together. This is. Oh, you know what? And then they had the president. Oh, I say the president because for me he's just been the president. But they had Barack. I'm gonna call him Barack now because he's like my boy. They had Barack come on, and everything that Barack said is everything that I've been saying here. So I said, well, me and Barack kind of grew up in the same neighborhood, same household or something. It's all being said. It's all, even today. And I thought about it. It's like, man, you pulling thoughts out of my head. Even today, Al Sharpton said that, you know what? We used to have roaches when we grew up, right? And roaches are a funny thing. You turn the light off, roaches have at it. Roaches just do their thing, right? Mm-hmm. But as soon as you flip the light on, they scatter. I've heard the sound. It's a horrible sound. These are bad roaches. But that's the whole point. What is happening right now? A big, huge, bright light is being shined on all the roaches, all the naysayers, all the criminal-minded, the light is on, and it's also on those people who are kind-hearted, who are about peace and love and togetherness and understanding and helping and serving their fellow man. So the light is on, folks, and guess what? The light is on you. The light's been on me for a while, so I mean, I don't, that's why I live my life as an open book. Because, you can't, these days, as is evident, you can't do anything undercover. There's a camera everywhere. I couldn't find a restroom. I was scared to pee. Somebody seeing me on camera. Outside peeing. Look at T-Bone outside peeing. But the light is on. And this is the one guarantee that I can give you. The light is on. Okay? And now it's time, what's that song? Rihanna and them, shine bright like a diamond. That's what this is. Now it's time to shine bright like a diamond. Now it's time to show people, not tell people. There's enough talking. Right now it's time to show people who you really are, because the light is on. The light is on. And so the president said some really cool things. And I mean, when I say the president, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the other president now, on the other hand, has been admonished to, and next time he raises that Bible up like that, is to maybe open it up. Maybe read something out of it. Maybe say a prayer. I mean, if you're going to go there, it should be a spiritual event, and that would have made it so much less hokey, I like all people. I got nothing against Donald Trump He's a human being, and I know that God and the devil works through people, and I know that he's just a man he's a puppet like all the rest of us, you know, and so he is very timely now too, because if I had to give him any credit, he's the great awakener. If you are still sleeping through this, then rest in peace. You know, because they get ready to throw the dirt in your face. You know, you'll be worm food here real shortly. You know, and so here we got a situation where, imagine that young man, because I got some young friends, and in fact, like one of my good people that I love, John Gallagher. And the people who know me, who know around me, know who John Gallagher is. Young man, I really love, and he's off, and he's a paratrooper in the Army. But just my point here is that how must it feel to be someone who signed up to protect your country, to then be asked to fight those people who you were signed up to protect? It has got to be mind-boggling. It's got to make absolutely no sense, because it doesn't. It doesn't. And so, once again, all I can say, this ain't a white and black thing, folks. It is not that. It's a which team are you on thing. It's what it really is. Which team are you on? You can't serve two masters. You just cannot serve two masters. Okay, I came across a really poignant speech that a young pastor gave down in Florida somewhere, and it said so much that I shared it, and I got various responses on it, but the thing that it said, that you can't kill my father because then you're killing my history. You can't kill my son because then you're killing my future. I refuse to allow any of those to happen, and it's not in any way, shape, or fashion a call to arms. It is clearly saying that silence is violence. It's like that dude shouldn't have died. Where I came from, and where I still am in my heart, I truly believe that maybe I'd have been gone too, because if nobody else would have gotten that dude off his neck, I'd have got him off his neck.
Any one of us would.
I'd have got him off his neck. I wasn't gonna sit there and videotape it, and nothing against the videotaper. Thank God you videotaped it, you know. But I want to sit there screaming, dude, get off his neck. It's like, no.
The other officers there.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah. No, they're locked up. And guys, one of the guys has got a few months on the force. So here's that herd mentality, right? Everybody following the crowd. The one guy that did this damage was the senior officer there on that in that situation. So the other officers were there following his lead, and he's led them to slaughter. And that's what happens, right? We got that little saying we use all the time, right? It's like, don't follow the masses, because sometimes the M is left off. You know, you're following the asses. Okay, and that just doesn't make any sense, guys. You guys are all, and this is the other thing that, you know, this is why I say it's not a black or white thing, because I know for a fact that there's many poor people as there are black people. In fact, there are more poor people than there are black people, because there's more white people. I mean, poor white people than there are poor black people, because there's more white people. You know, and so this thing is not about, you know, it is. Fortunately, I guess. I mean, they had the little girl on the basketball, Stephen, what's his name, neck, on his shoulders, and the little girl is smiling, saying, "My daddy changed the world." And that's it is a bittersweet thing to have that little girl feel and say. Because the reality is, regardless of whatever happens from now on, she'll never talk to her dad again. You know, all the accolades about him being a gentle giant and everybody loving him and all that, they'll just have to remember those things. Okay? Now, there's reports of there being, you know, and it's going to come out, you know, it's going to come out, reports of there being fentanyl and meth in the system. You know, does that make him a bad person? Does that make him deserve to die? Absolutely not. But there's so much here, and there's so much for you to think about. And you guys that are active out there in your addiction, you know doggone well, and I'm praying for you every day. And the only thing that I want for you is to have the opportunity to live your life, to not be a statistic, to not wander aimlessly through this thing and find yourself so far away from who you really are, who you authentically are. I want everybody to live their authentic life. It's like I said the other day, I want all you guys to be me. An old black dude that with long hair that rides a motorcycle, plays music and tennis, and sings, and you know, just living a life that, and I only say that to not brag or whatever, is that, but I wasn't supposed to be here. I OD'd 3 times in my life. Okay. And I managed to, and somehow God saved me. I guess to be here, because all I pray every day is I come here. When I come here, that somebody is out there and they're channel surfing or whatever it is, streaming, and you just run across this dude and says, "Oh, man, what's up with that dude?" Or when my co-hosts are here, "What's up with those guys?" You know, say, what the heck? What are they talking about? You know, what could they be possibly talking about? Somebody asked Sean, "Well, where did you guys get your degrees?" We got our degrees from the School of Hard Knocks. It's concrete, man. It's tough too, you know. I got all the bruises and battle scars, but you know what? I'm here and I'm happy. And today there was a picture of my baby girl and her baby girl, the seed of my seed, on Facebook, and they look so beautiful. And I can only think to myself, with all of this that's going on in the world, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to still be here and to be able to see that little beautiful little baby and be able to talk to him and hold him. Because that wasn't supposed to happen, considering everything. As it was supposed to happen because it's happened, but back then it didn't seem like it was going to happen. And so I have always been, and I will continue to be promoting that 4-letter word, love, 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 love. And if nobody's told you they love you today, let me be the first. And when I say it, I mean it, because I don't, it's the easiest thing on the planet to do. And guess what? It feels good inside. You know. Let me read some comments here. I get I get carried away, as you guys know. Let me see. John Patrick, hey, what's up? Hope all is well. It is. Judy, 2 of those cops were only on their 3rd, 4th shift. So he was indoctrinating them against their training. And did you hear what she just said? These was just their 3rd or 4th shifts. That's amazing. It's crazy. I mean, I thought being on the force a month or so was crazy. But if they were just on their 3rd or 4th shifts and this guy was teaching them, they were being indoctrinated with that hate. And so I keep saying it ain't racism, and I don't know if it's even a word, but if it's not, you heard it here first. It's hateism. It's hate. It's anger, and it's just trying to find some place to rear its ugly head. And when it does, it's never nice. The storm is never nice. So many people get hurt. I'm thinking about the people in Georgia. That couple, that father and son. It's a father and son that now are their lives are completely changed, and so then aren't their wives and daughters and children and friends. We've got to stop the madness, because it just doesn't affect the person that is portraying it or perpetrating it. It affects everybody around us. And we're raising a generation of kids that are really not into that stuff, man. When I see the protesters, even today when I rode down the street, there was a protest here, and I could tell you that I could count, it was 75% other than black. You know what I mean? And so we got some people who are really ready and willing to make a change in this world, to come together. This ain't about the criminal justice system, though it is. This is about the human spirit. You know, it is about the human interaction. It is about kindness and forgiveness and wiping the slate clean. You see, because those kids, they're not responsible for slavery. They don't have to bear the weight of slavery, and neither do the black people who went through it. In fact, when I told you the other day, I had that commented because I was a little bit disturbed about a comment from Van Jones and Bakari Sellers about them not knowing what to tell their young black sons. And the reality is that here's what you tell them: we survived some shit. You know, and we're still here surviving, but look how far we go. Look, almost every police chief that you see that comes on television is black. Almost every mayor that you see that comes on television is black. The attorney general who prosecuting this case is black. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that turnaround. Imagine that ever happening 200 years ago. Not gonna happen. So we've come a long way, baby. So we are just naturally equipped to deal with the adversity that is being black. And so we're talking about inferiority and superiority complexes. We're talking about this thing. Is this thing. And nobody's talked about it. And I kind of hoping that maybe some of the things that I'm saying kind of creep out there into the universe and gets to somebody, and somebody that has got a bigger voice in mind can say it. There's this thing called liberal paternalism. Liberal paternalism is an act of like being a father, one grown man being a father to another grown man. Superiority and inferiority complexes that have gone on forever. And we got to stop that. We got to stop with, I'm better than you because I got more money. I'm better than you because I got a better job. I got a better house. No, you are no better, because today you can walk out there and a coconut can fall on your head and you can be dead. And your money won't save you. If you had a helmet on, perhaps. But your money won't save you. Where you live won't save you. Your color won't save you. None of that stuff will save you. Okay? So what we got to do is find the common ground. You know, I mean, we all day long you get quotes like, well, what Malcolm would do, what Mark would do. What would you do? They're both dead. What would you do? You have a brain. What would you do? Let me put that number up there again, because I'm putting out some good stuff here. I'm expecting somebody to call me, man. Let me see. Also, Trump could play army guys around. Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, Aswolf, how you doing, brother? We are all the same people, just different shades. So so it's not boring. And say that again, Aswolf. It would be, call that number, Aswolf. We got to talk, because you hit the nail on the head. Anyway, 941-201-5226. How vanilla chocolate boring would this world be if it was just black and white, or if it was just black or just white, or everybody was the same, everybody had the same opinion, everybody wore the same color, it would be boring. It would be so boring. And this is so much not a boring life. This life is amazing. Every day there's something amazing that happens. You know, so much so, like I said, I got to start writing it down now. I used to be able to remember it, but I mean, there's so much that's happened. Again, it was such a pleasure to see President Obama, ex-President Obama, come on and bring some class and style and a little dignity to the television, because you know that's what I think about him. So that's me. You may disagree, and that's the thing about it. Just because we disagree, we ain't got to fight. You don't have to hate me. You know, let me have my opinion. Do you listen? What did they say when they sounded the bell way back when? Give me liberty or give me death. Ain't nothing changed. We are only here in America because some people were tired of being treated tired of the tyranny of the British rule and tired of taxation without representation. Hey, bill collector. At least I think.
That's a bill collector phone call.
Yeah. No, maybe they heard me. They won't talk to me. They say you're right, but you still got to pay your bill. Tyranny, taxation without representation. That's what's all going down, and that's why we're here. Okay. Now, here we go. 200,000 Africans were brought from Africa to America, okay, with the intent of them being what Donald would like to call indentured service or servitude or free servitude, slaves. And there was never, at that time at least, a thought of them being a part of this constitutional equal, all men created equal. That was never even thought of. It was not part of the big plan. The big plan was to get some free service out of these people, and then, I don't know, keep them, under thumb, just like everything else. I bet you $1 to a donut, there were some slaves that didn't want to be freed. They was living kind of good. At least how good as good goes under those circumstances. But the reality is that we were never suspected to be free, and certainly not equal, and then certainly not taking and being mayors and police chiefs and president. None of that was in the plan. And so a lot of that stuff is old stuff that people have been holding on to, and they're still holding on to, and it's being passed down to their children. But the beautiful part about these days is that we live in an age of information, and children are more freer thinkers than their parents would ever be. The parents were so busy trying to create an income and build a business and all that, and the kids are the benefactors of that, and therefore have all these computers and phones and Siri and Alexa and all them things and all them people that Hey, Sean just woke up, man. I know you were tired, bro. I'm glad you got some rest. Can you explain the difference between racism and bigotry? They are kind of like kissing cousins. Is my answer to that. They are against something. They're against some organization, something. They are. Thought that they are superior, they're smarter, they've got the answers, they're the hoity-toities, as we like to call them. They look down on something or someone, and that's the best answer that I can possibly give you on that.
And what's prejudice?
Prejudice is just that, when you prejudge something. That is clearly what it means. Prejudge. When you prejudge, because I'm black, I walk into the room and look, and I get it all the time. I got this hair, I must be a Rastafarian. Yeah, you're from Jamaica, man. No. Well, my family way back then, when slavery was going on, was because the slave trade came through there. Okay, and so from that perspective, but no, I grew up in two of the finest cities in America, New York and Los Angeles. And so and I got a good education. I wouldn't look like it, but and so that's the prejudice. I walk in, you see my face, and you prejudge, and I'm just a big Rastafarian black man. And see, it goes almost like back. It always goes back to Corona for me, right? It's like, why you gotta tell adults to wash their hands? Why you gotta tell adults to wash their hands? And so the same thing applies. Why do you have to tell adults to treat people right? What do you want to be? Treated right? And the only way you're going to get that is to treat people right. You know, I feel for Donald Trump. I feel for his little son, man. I forget his name. I feel for his little son. You know, because he's got to get the raft of some people who are judgmental and prejudiced about Donald Trump. I mean, at the end of the day, Donald Trump has in the course of the things he's done some good stuff too. You know, and the people who support him recognize that good stuff. The people that are against him don't see it. They see it as just a jerk. You know, but we're all human beings, including him. You know, including his wife, including his family. See, everybody's just we're so pigeonholing everything. You know, we put everything in a pigeonhole when it's so much bigger, so much broader than that. This is why I have a call out, and I want you guys to look it up. Existentialism. Just say it in your phone, and it'll call it up for you. Existentialism was some French psychologists back in the day created this thing, and it just really kind of means, how do you create your own reality in the bigger and broader reality, and have an identity, have some peace, have some freedom, and be able to have the liberty, to be able to have the freedom that we have all been promised. You know, we've come a long way, baby. We got a long way to go, but I guarantee you, the easiest route, the quickest route that we have, that's going to make a difference. And when each and every, like, these questions are being asked, and then when after you ask the question, you go like Arsenio used to say, okay, things make you go you go and you internalize and you think about it, and you ask yourself, what was that song? You might ask yourself, what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do to make this world a better place? What can you do to help a child? What can you do to help that mother? What can you do to get that knee off that black man's neck? Or white man, or whatever man it is. Woman. I mean, they got some woman. Woman got shot in her house. Got a call and ended up getting shot in her own house. And this really happens to women. It's usually a male thing. But there's no respect for persons. I mean, white people get killed, Spanish people. I mean, it's just, stuff happens. And if anybody thinks that right now, because of this, nothing's going to happen again, then you're delusional. But it's going to be how we deal with it. You know, we can certainly eliminate some of it. I gotta say it again. If I was there, that dude'd still be alive right now. I might be beat up and whatever. You know, but I mean, we you know, you gotta fight for your rights. You know, you gotta fight. We gotta fight for each other. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter what size package it comes in. It doesn't matter who it affects. If it affects anybody, then it's not right. And especially in the world in which we live. Man, this is the greatest thing since sliced toast, if you live it right. And so all you guys that are out there, and whatever addiction it is you have, if it's addiction to hate and anger and all of that stuff, let's just stop for a minute. Stop. Re-engineer. Change it. You got a brain that is amazing. You got a brain that could do anything. If you just take a minute to just readjust, rethink things. This is that time. I mean, you know, I don't know if you guys are football fans or not, but I think my white friends, if you didn't read Drew Brees' apology, I think the apology should be the anthem. I think Drew Brees' apology should be the anthem for any white person that questions, what do I need to do? And I applaud Drew Brees for coming out right away and saying, wait, I was wrong. Okay, I wasn't wrong. He was actually right, because he has the right also to feel the way that he feels. Okay, but in the context of what he was talking about, then it was wrong. Okay, and some people's feelings were hurt and what all that, and his image was tarnished, and he came right back and said, "Listen, I'll be a vehicle for change. You know what I mean? I'll do whatever it is to do. I didn't mean to be insensitive, and I know there's a whole lot of people out there, white, black, Spanish, that didn't mean to be insensitive, but didn't know any better at the time. And we got to be schooled. Somebody's got to help us. Somebody's got to tell us." You know, and I don't know if black people are the ones that tell white people or Spanish people or Italians or Indians or anybody how to do what it is they need to do. We can tell them how what they do affects us, but I think this is an inside job, man. I think this is an inside job, and I think that it's going to happen though, because like everybody else I've been hearing, this is totally different than any other protest, any other thing that I've ever seen in my life. Totally different. The makeup of the crowd is totally different. Their passion and commitment is totally different. Maybe since the I don't know what, maybe the women's movement. I mean, LGBTs was kind of big too, but it's nothing like this. And I'm encouraged, and I want to encourage you guys to do whatever it is you need to do, because it's about you. It's about your inside job. If you take your little space, here's back to existentialism. If you would take your little space that you have, and you would make it better, then the offshoot of that, the natural evolution of things around you will get better, because you know what? You'll be smiling at people. If somebody needs some help, you'll help people. You know what I mean? So, it's an inside job. I can only tell you that I've been fortunate in my life that I've had friends of all different races and ages, and I love them all. I love them all, and you guys know who I'm talking about if you're listening. Let's see. It sounds like prejudice and bigotry is about ignorance and fear of the unknown. And there's some fear. Listen, there right now is the browning of America. And it's a little frightening for white men in particular. I mean, I don't know if you watch television, but if you watch enough television, check some of the commercials. It's a lot of interracial couples on those commercials. And I'm talking about, I just saw one with an Asian dude and a black chick. I was like, yeah, that's a new one. You know, but it happens. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I got some friends that are Asian and a black person couple. So it's there, but there's the browning of America, and that's fearful. And it's only though natural evolution. It is the perpetuation of the human race. Because if it was dependent on just white males to continue to populate the earth, it'd go away. Just from a mortality rate, dying younger. Having less, getting married less, having less kids, and so these are things. You see, my favorite saying is, "You don't know what you don't know." Okay, but what we tend to think is that we know every damn thing, you know, and that sets us up for failure. See, we don't know what the universe is planning, and I'm telling you, it's planning something. I'm one of those. I'm a hope dealer, and I like to talk about hope and faith, because those two things are what would get us through all this. But I'm a hope dealer, you know, and I have hope that what the earth is trying to do through its process of natural selection is get it to where we live in a world where our children and our loved ones are safe. And they have the things that they need to contribute positively to our society. That's my hope. Let's see what else we got here. Hey, cuz, and she's a teacher. I'm going to read hers real quick. So ignorance of the unknown. So it's all fear and pain based. A lot of fear and a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. Hurt people. That dude that put his knee on that dude's neck was hurting inside. He has some anger and some hurt and some frustration inside that maybe we need to be trying to check out what that's all about. You know, what was going on at home? Was he married? Was he having some marital problems? Did somebody black do something to him and maybe totally unrelated? But that dude was experiencing some real intense anger and pain. Now, we got relationships. Right? A lot of times the relationships are detrimental to our mental well-being. Sometimes we forget how we need to get out of some relationships. All right, I got 5 minutes. Let me see what my cousin's talking about here. She says, as a teacher, I have to make sure that I position as a role model. That I challenge all educators to do. Our children need this. Thank you, cuz. And that is just so absolutely right. But that's across the board. Black men, you got to be role models to young black boys, but you also have to be role models to young white boys and girls. You see, because that role model means it's like, this is how things should be done. Okay, and especially if it's done right. Okay, so I thanks, cuz. I mean, I'm in total agreement with you. Okay, and he is married to the Asian. Oh my God, he's married. Judy, you're the research specialist. The guy's married to the Asian cop sister. This thing is out of control. What must that family be going through right now? Let's take our eyes off the big picture that the media and all that is telling us. We've got to get down to the nitty gritty here. Everybody in this thing is hurting. All the people out there that are out protesting, they're hurting. But everybody in this whole scenario, that young man, his future was ahead of him. His sister now has got his brother-in-law, got his brother and her husband locked up in jail. Man, it just gets crazy. So we're gonna be talking about this for a while. But if I had to say anything to anybody, it was within the sound of my voice. I just want you to be kind to one another. Especially right now. The one thing that the niece said, or whatever it was on the funeral, he said that the one thing about George, when George would come up and hug you go and give you that big bear hug, all the cares in the world would go away. Let's help some people get over some of their cares. Do we have time to do our sponsors or no?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. This show is brought to you by, and guys, if nobody's told you I love you today, peace, I love you. What's the day? Thursday. We'll be back on Monday. I'm sure that a whole lot is going to happen.
POWarriors.com, the website created to connect our brave men and women of the armed forces, first responders, and medical personnel to our community of businesses and services that honor their service. POWarriors.com, protecting our warriors who protect us.
Spice up your next event with the Hammock Haven Experience. To find out more, go to thehammockhaven.com or call 941-201-5226. The Hammock Haven. Chillax a minute.
Oh, I thought I said goodbye, but I guess I'm still here. Love you guys. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Oh, we still got a minute left?
Yep.
Well, you know what? In that minute, I want to talk about this because all we're talking about is attitude, right? My favorite motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar, would say, it is not your aptitude, but it is your attitude that determines your altitude. It's also your attitude that determines the outcome of these situations. And we've got to get one that is strong like a bull, like oak. Mm-hmm. It's there, baby. I know you guys. I know a whole bunch of you. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're doing this for our children because we want them to have a world where they can live in that has nothing to do with none of this crap, man. Peace.
You sailed away and left me with nothing to to say. You already knew I would come searching anyway. So I sailed across the sea to see if you were there waiting for me, but you were not. So I sailed back with a broken heart. I waited till 3 to see if you would come looking for me, but you did not. So I fell asleep with a broken